Once the most influential figure in the known world, Marcus Aurelius embarked on a mission to lead an exemplary life in harmony with the principles of Stoic philosophy. In stark contrast to many Roman emperors of his time, he refrained from indulging in the abundant pleasures available to him. He abstained from excessive wine consumption and chose not to spectate the brutal events at the Colosseum. Marcus Aurelius was motivated by a deep-seated desire to fulfill the purpose entrusted to him by fate, a mission centered on serving humanity. As a result, he maintained a profound commitment to actualizing his purpose. However, to achieve this, he recognized the necessity of reducing his preoccupation with matters devoid of true worth or wisdom. It's important to emphasize that such matters were abundant in his era. One of the core tenets of Stoicism revolves around the distinction between what we can control and what we cannot. This concept is vividly articulated by philosophers like Epictetus and Caridian. Most, if not all, of the factors beyond our own actions are beyond our control. Does this mean we should disengage from the world entirely? Not necessarily, but Stoics believe that we should be realistic about our limited influence over these external matters. We only burden ourselves needlessly when we fail to do so. When life becomes distressing, it often signals our emotional investment in circumstances beyond our control. In doing so, we inadvertently grant these external factors the power to manipulate and control us, akin to puppeteers pulling strings. Ironically, we then point fingers at these external factors for our suffering, failing to recognize that we have empowered them. However, by disconnecting our emotional investment in these matters, we strip them of their influence over us, thereby granting ourselves the serenity to remain undisturbed. For Marcus Aurelius, this practice of remaining unperturbed by external circumstances allowed him to navigate the many responsibilities and challenges he faced as an emperor, enabling him to focus on the task he believed the gods had assigned to him. For Epictetus, it meant liberating oneself from external influences and focusing on meaningful goals, while for others, it might simply translate into a path to a happier, carefree life. When life presents challenges, what should we cease obsessing over? The most crucial question, however, is how we achieve this state of mind. This video delves into a free interpretation of Marcus Aurelius's philosophy, particularly his meditations, to understand how we can care less about matters that lack true significance. Marcus Aurelius consistently differentiates between the present and the future, offering valuable insights into how we tend to either care excessively about these aspects or direct our attention in the wrong ways or toward the wrong things. Let's begin with the future. As eloquently articulated by Seneca, we often endure more distress within the confines of our imagination than in the actuality of our experiences. This underscores the idea that our thoughts often serve as the wellspring of our suffering. When we focus our attention on the future, our imagination frequently runs wild. We conjure numerous scenarios, most of which are unlikely to materialize, and we agonize over strategies to navigate these potential outcomes, all while trembling with apprehension due to our uncertainty about the future. In some cases, our worst fears materialize, but often, fate surprises us with unexpected events that we couldn't have foreseen. Consider the scenario where we meticulously plan and save for a well-deserved retirement, only to be confronted with a devastating cancer diagnosis just as we approach our golden years, leaving us with mere months to live. The mere possibility of such events can plunge us into ceaseless anxiety. The range of potential outcomes spans from the best-case scenarios to the worst. What if a catastrophic world war erupts? What if we face complete financial ruin? While these dire possibilities are within the realm of possibility, they remain confined to our thoughts. The future only troubles us because we think about it, it does not exist outside the mind. Marcus Aurelius stressed that it's not the burden of the future that weighs us down but the weight of the present moment alone. The future itself is not responsible for inflicting harm, it is our present handling of it that determines our suffering. The distress arising from future events actually occurs in the present. Paradoxically, the future does not unfold in the present because when we encounter it, it is already in the present. Therefore, the misery associated with the future emerges from our current worries and preoccupations. When we care excessively about future events, life eventually becomes painful as we experience them in our imagination, letting them dictate our present. So, what wisdom does Marcus Aurelius offer for those who care too much about the future? Let's consider the following quote: "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it if you have to with the same weapons of reason that today arm you against the present." In this quote, Marcus Aurelius underscores the idea that if he could effectively navigate the present, he possessed the capacity to confront the challenges of the future as well. He advised against dwelling on all the potential dreadful scenarios that could unfold and encouraged a focus on the immediate circumstances at hand. When he focused on the present, he realized he could bear it. If that's the case, why wouldn't he be able to handle what's yet to come? This attitude resembles the concept of amor fati, the love of fate, fortified by trust in one's ability to endure. Now, turning to the past, Marcus Aurelius reminds us of the swiftness with which life passes by, disappearing into the vast unknown. The past is a realm where we have no agency. What's done is done, and unless we invent a time machine, we can't alter it. As Marcus Aurelius succinctly puts it, man lives only in the present. In this fleeting moment, all the rest of one's life is either gone or has yet to reveal itself. Despite the transient nature of our lives, which is confined to the present moment, we often find ourselves preoccupied with events outside of it, incapable of altering the past or foreseeing the future. Marcus Aurelius acknowledged the potential value of the past as a source of learning. By examining the patterns and rhythms within the past, we can gain insights into the repetition of events, allowing us to anticipate and prepare for the future. This perspective enables us to extrapolate from the past to inform our understanding of the present. Marcus Aurelius consistently emphasizes that the present moment is our sole domain, serving as a vantage point from which we can peer into the vast expanse of the past and the enigmatic obscurity of the future. He was steadfast in anchoring himself in the present, concentrating on what fell within his sphere of control at that moment. Nevertheless, even when we manage to let go of the past and reduce our anxieties regarding the future, we often expend excessive concern on matters lacking true significance. We frequently find ourselves discontented with the unfolding of life in the present. When events deviate from our desires, we may succumb to emotions like anger, sadness, or despair. However, according to Marcus Aurelius, becoming emotionally disturbed by the twists of fortune is futile. How the world around us unfolds is not within our control, our reactions to it, however, are. But we tend to get distressed because we dislike what's happening or because our desires remain unfulfilled. Marcus Aurelius likened those who struggle with fortune to pigs kicking and squealing when led to sacrifice. It's futile, as we can't alter what the gods have ordained. We can't stop wars, natural disasters, or the aging of our bodies. Similarly, we cannot dictate the world to fulfill our desires. There's no guarantee that those we're drawn to will reciprocate our feelings, nor is it assured that everyone will encounter the opportunities life presents. Yet, we frequently expend a significant amount of time and energy resisting the unchangeable aspects of reality. Regardless of our efforts, our emotions often fluctuate between anger due to unfulfilled desires and sadness when confronted with undesired circumstances. Consequently, the present moment becomes a tormenting chamber in which we endure the whims of fortune. On the other hand, there are times when we become attached to the present, clinging to it tenaciously, afraid to let go of what we possess. We once again surrender control to fortune, becoming entangled in the unpredictability of life around us. We often fail to recognize what is genuinely within our power, our choices, actions, and opinions. Marcus Aurelius saw the law of nature as our master. If we flee from it or feel grief and anger about it, we are nothing more than deserters and fugitives. We must accept the ways of nature, embrace them, and focus on managing them rather than wasting our energy on disgust or attachment to our circumstances. In the 7th book of his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius proposed a method for embracing the present. He suggested focusing on what we currently possess rather than fixating on what we lack. However, he cautioned against deriving excessive satisfaction from these possessions to the point that losing them would cause distress. Embracing one's circumstances can be a formidable challenge, especially in the face of significant hardships. When life serves us a series of lemons, one might wonder if it's too much to ask for a respite. However, Marcus Aurelius contended that adversity should not be an excuse to react like panicked, distressed animals. Instead, he argued that challenges represent opportunities to practice virtue, applying Stoic philosophy in our lives. The essence of life does not revolve around the splendor and fortune of our external circumstances, for these aspects are inherently unpredictable, fragile, and beyond our control. According to Stoicism, what truly matters is how we face the situations that unfold before us. Marcus Aurelius believed this should be our primary concern. In his words, "To me, the present is a chance for the exercise of rational virtue." Civic virtue, in short, is the art that men share with gods. Both treat whatever happens as holy, natural, not novel or hard to deal with, but familiar and easily handled. That wraps up today's video, and I sincerely hope you found it insightful. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to check the link in the first comment below. If you've watched until the end, please leave a comment, letting me know. Your feedback is invaluable, and I'll make sure to read all the comments with great attention. Thank you so much, and may you find harmony with the Creator.